Hello and welcome to Crack in the Vault. Crack in the Vault. Crack in the Vault. Crack in the Vault. It's our after show where we talk even more about the Disney movies that we talked about on the main Walt Vault episode. This week, we are talking about the brand new movie, Mulan. 2020 Mulan, the live action. And we're going to dive right into the main controversy surrounding this movie. Well, maybe not the main controversy, but definitely a large controversy surrounding this movie. In that, it's a Chinese movie, obviously, right? Or it's based in China. It's got a lot of Chinese influences, Chinese culture, stuff like that. But people in China aren't necessarily all gung-ho for Mulan.
No.
Right?
Mostly because of the actress playing Mulan.
Yes, and because of the current politics going on in China and Hong Kong specifically. Let me see here.
So it's really interesting because this is the first Disney branded film to feature an all Asian cast.
Right.
And a lot of like Chinese and Hong Kong born actors.
Mm-hmm.
Like versus like just American, like Asian Americans.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, like, you know, between for Disney, you know, they had Black Panther, which was the movie with an all black cast that you know, skyrocketed. They did crazy gangbusters numbers, and it there's a great sense of pride for that movie within black culture. And you know, shout out R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman. We didn't mention that on the main episode, but Mulan is kind of, you know, is obviously by Disney is going to be pushed in that same kind of direction. We want this same thing for the Chinese/Asian community to see themselves on the big screen and all that good stuff, right? However, China's politics are all over the place at the moment in the year of our Lord 2020. All right, I have a thing about the protests that are going on, and it's pretty short. This is 100 words. Okay, it says Hong Kong's protests started in June against plans to allow extradition to mainland China. Critics feared this could undermine judicial independence and endanger dissidents. Until 1997, Hong Kong was ruled by Britain as a colony, but then returned to China. Under the one country, two systems arrangement, it has some autonomy and its people more rights. The bill was withdrawn in September, but demonstrations continue and now demand full democracy and an inquiry into police actions. Clashes between police and activists have become increasingly violent, with police firing live bullets and protesters attacking officers and throwing petrol bombs. All right.
So basically, Hong Kong wants to be kind of its own separate entity.
They want to. Well, I don't. It's not so much about that kind of autonomy. They just want to be a democracy.
Right.
Got it.
So tensions are high in China right now. There have been protests
and have
going
been
on
since
last
year.
June of 2019. Right.
Got it.
You know, all even up to now, all through COVID and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so, the controversy surrounding this movie, I mean, it started with, you know, it's like, all right, well, Americans are making a Chinese movie and they're just trying to appeal to us and blah 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 blah. Let's ignore it or whatever. And since then, the lead actress Liu Yifei, or Yifei Liu, I'm not sure which order it's.
Liu Yifei.
Liu Yifei. She has spoken out and sided with the police in you know, the great debate of the protesters versus the police. So she spoke out in favor of the police, and so the human rights activists of China have basically gone like, this movie is hot garbage. All right, we need to boycott this movie. So hashtag boycott Mulan
and so
has been trending.
Where I started seeing it, so I follow way too many Disney things on Instagram, but like, I mean, every post right now is Mulan related. But then if you click into the comments, I'm seeing like hashtag boycott Mulan, hashtag stand with Hong Kong, all these things. And then I also saw one that says, how are there no options for Chinese subtitles? Which was interesting. But just basically, if you click into like any post about it, it's just like comments and comments and comments of hashtag boycott Mulan, hashtag stand with Hong Kong. So that's kind of where I saw it. And also, everybody in the comments does not like this movie. They're complaining about the $30. This is the only positive comment I could find was, it was great. I'm glad they made this movie like a classic kung fu style movie instead of a cartoon remake. Hope they make a sequel of being in the Royal Guard with more action. That was literally the only positive comment I could find.
Under the
comments of just like Mulan.
And what are you on?
Disney Plus. Instagram page.
Oh, okay.
So people are really mad about the $30 fee.
Right.
And they're really mad that it's not included in their streaming service. And then every other thing is hashtag boycott Mulan.
Right. Regarding the protests and the human rights and that.
A lot of them say, where's the trailer for The Mandalorian 2? Hashtag boycott Mulan.
So that's just people, spouting off.
Basically, they're just
at Disney.
boycotting it. Yes.
So that's one of the major issues that around this movie. But apparently, like, Chinese nationalists and Chinese scholars and pretty much everybody who's not a Westerner is pissed because they feel like it is, well, a couple different things. Okay, so not Chinese nationalists. Here's what they say. The Mulan movie is a dismal sign that Disney is bowing to China's nationalistic agenda. Mulan has been transformed from life-affirming epic to patriotic saga, showing Hollywood is prioritizing box office success. They feel like it's just another version of being true to country when there's things more important than country.
Yeah. Exactly, like people and their lives and their livelihoods.
Is it? I don't know.
And stuff like that. Well, I mean, so I have very little knowledge of what the protests in China and Hong Kong have been like about, but I've seen videos of it, right? And anytime I see videos of cops just absolutely destroying civilians with their riot gear and pepper spray and stuff like that, I'm not on the side of the cops. No. I'm just not going to be. It is not going to be like that.
I see one here. There's one person that commented, bringing dishonor and serving authoritarianism. And someone replied, I love this movie. They're so cool. Martial arts is fantastic. Hashtag boycott Mulan. Hashtag support Liu Yifei.
Right.
And then they have like this whole Instagram page about how people should support her and not be hating on her.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy too.
So within this entire controversy, it really seems like the actress Liu Yifei has sided with the pro country, the pro Hong Kong, the pro police side of the story, and that's really setting off all of these would-be fans, who, if she hadn't said this, might have watched the movie and enjoyed it, but they're really going like, what you have said is so damaging to us and the people of your country and the people who live in Hong Kong that like there's no way that we're going to support this movie, and that's extremely valid. I can't put them down at all. Well,
especially like living through not that we're living in everyone has their problems right now, but if something like that were happening, actually,
stuff like that is happening.
Well, I'm trying to put it in better, more applicable terms to us. So like, for example, if there was a very strong beloved white actor that came out right now and said something against Black Lives Matter, I would not go see their movie.
Exactly.
And I would not see their movies moving forward.
Yeah.
And I can say that because that's exactly like, it's not exactly the same, but it's the same.
It's not irrelevant
idea
to the world we're currently living in.
I don't mean to be silly when I say unfriending. I'm not saying like on social media. I'm saying like from my life. I am distancing myself from people who are doing and saying absolutely obnoxious things in that regard. So it's not put past us that we would do the same thing to not watch a movie.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Exactly.
And I had seen maybe like one or two things about this like before the movie had come out.
I haven't seen anything.
Probably like last year or something like that, because I think she made these comments.
It was she made these
right?
comments in August of 2019 when the trailers were coming out.
Yes. Has she made a statement since it's come out?
I have no idea.
I don't believe so. Or at
I
least
didn't
I'm
hear
sure
anything
Disney PR
about
was
it.
like, shut your mouth.
right. Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure.
No need to
Yeah.
talk. It's okay.
You can
We're
just
good.
not have an opinion.
Yeah, you know, I
Yeah,
haven't
I'm
seen her
sure.
doing interviews or anything like that. You know, most of the time they're on Jimmy Fallon and
Well,
you
they
know,
can't really do that right
all
now.
these shows. But I mean, there are virtual versions of all those shows. They could have thrown her in a Skype call or something like that. But I haven't been seeing that, and I'm guessing that this is a large reason why.
Sure.
You know,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's so interesting because like the NBA went through this earlier this year and last year as well. Like I think the NBA, some of the players were saying some stuff about free Hong Kong and stuff like that. And the NBA makes a lot of money by being in China. The Chinese people love basketball. So within that. They started saying that, and Hong Kong was like, well, we're shutting down the NBA. We're shutting down all your money. And so the NBA put a ban on the players from saying anything about free Hong Kong. And so that is that same kind of kowtowing to country, kowtowing to Hong Kong. That
and that's what they're saying about Disney, like bowing to the Chinese nationalism.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, it's a big, complicated problem, and one that we as, you know, Americans dealing with all kinds of our own issues aren't super keyed into, you know.
Well, and that is, I think, just a fundamental difference in our culture. We are so we're just so individualistic.
Yeah.
And we care about ourselves and our own family in I mean that's capitalism though. That is democracy. We choose. We do what we do. And we don't care about what's happening around us as much. So it's not, you know, the sense of national pride, especially right now, is just obliterated because of
at an all-time low.
We just don't even know which way is up.
So, I mean, all this is you know, it's very interesting because as far as I can tell from what I've read, I'm on the side of the protesters in Hong Kong as well. I want there to be a free Hong Kong. I want them to enjoy the same kind of freedoms and democracies that we in America do, that they are currently not experiencing there in Hong Kong. But at the same time, I paid $30 directly to Disney for this movie, you know? So that doesn't necessarily feel good. Especially since the movie wasn't as fantastic as we thought it would be.
Well, in our defense, I think it was this morning we woke up and we were like, what?
Right, yeah.
You know how something will hit like your news feed and you're like, what?
Yeah, it didn't quite dawn on us until a bit too late. But you know, if that would have changed by wanting to see it,
probably still would have watched
probably still would have watched it. Probably still would have bought it. You know, maybe
for podcast purposes.
Yes, exactly. But all that being said, you know, make up your own mind. You know, do your research on this kind of stuff, and if it's something that you believe in, that you shouldn't kowtow to the totalitarian type governments that are out there, then yeah, don't buy Mulan until it becomes free on Disney Plus on December 4th. But yeah. Other than that, what else we got to say?
Well,
that
sexual
Huang Li
stuff.
was totally gonna fuck Mulan.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my god.
So
like hardcore.
Back to the movie.
Y'all,
No.
us three were watching this movie together, being like, "What?"
There was like a few key scenes, right? There was one where
And you said Mulan. You should have taken it back to
it's Hua Jun.
Oh yeah,
Hua
Hua
Jun.
Okay, so Hua Jun he has gone back to the barracks. He's trying to be by himself, and Honghui just comes in there. He's like, "Hey, dog, what's going on? I saw you out there. You got the right stuff. You know, you got what it takes. We're in here all by ourselves. Ain't nobody else around."
I literally thought to myself, like, if it's gonna go there, just go there. But like, it was so, I could feel it in the air. Like, it was just making me uncomfortable because it just needed to be expressed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
it was very apparent in this movie.
in the beginning of this movie, I kind of wrote in my notes a couple of times. I'm like, this is kind of like the animated Mulan is kind of like this too, but this is kind of like a real, it's like a trans allegory, right? In the beginning of this movie, she's like, my parents want me to be this person who I absolutely am not, so I'm gonna go off in secret, change my gender, and then assimilate, basically, right? But, you know, midway through the movie, Honghui's making eyes and whatnot. But then Mulan realizes that she is a woman. She is a powerful force to be reckoned with. She lets down her hair and she fights as a woman, right? And you know, the Hua Jun character is completely gone from the rest of the movie. But had Honghui actually been attracted, like directly, I'm into you, dude, attracted to Hua Jun, I wonder if that would have changed anything about how Mulan was deciding to represent herself or something like that. You know, like if he had gone into that dorm room and he had been like, hey, so what do you think about us touching each other's lips? You know what I'm saying? If she would have been like, hey, bro, just so you know,
I ain't got what you want.
Yeah, I may not be exactly what you're thinking about, you know. Or if, you know, when she came out of the smoke from the mountain and her hair was all down and Huang Hui saw her, it's like, oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, cool. I was having a real crisis there for a little bit.
It's just so funny. I think that Luis is, he's probably going to be upset that I shared this on the podcast, but he can't hear me, so he won't know.
Yeah.
But we have said this multiple times, because I have a friend who does amazing makeup, and he has on multiple occasions like popped up on my feed, and Luis is like, dang, like he is a pretty man.
Right.
Like, you know, or like he's seen like a trans,
Totally.
like, well, or maybe not a trans, but like a
gender non-conforming person.
Yes, he's like, wow, I mean, I know that like physically he's male, but like he's, you
gorgeous.
know, dressed, and he's like, wow, like, wow.
Ha-cha-cha.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yip. Well, like, okay.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, you know, sometimes people's the beauty is really just transcends anything that you ever thought about before. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
What's going on over here?
He won't ever know I said that because he's just jamming by himself. But
Jamming.
But I can totally understand that. I mean, beauty is beauty, so
yeah,
work it.
And I mean, once again, Disney is definitely not known for their
exploratory.
Yeah, super.
Nature.
Yeah, they like to go much more subtle with their LGBT representation in movies than.
But I'm just gonna say
overt.
that this was the least subtle.
It
I mean,
yeah.
excuse me, I take that back. Beauty and the Beast was overt in
Yeah.
a small scale,
right?
But
yes.
this was like when I like
and that's how I
it just
felt.
literally like I could feel it on my body. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's such a weird line for them to walk, right? Because in the animated version, it's Mulan who is interested in Shang, right? And so we, as the audience, know that she's a woman and she's having heterosexual thoughts for this guy, this beefcake, and and he is
Not
looking
Shang.
at
Shang.
Ping as a pretty boy or
Yeah,
or
Or
someone
I
who's
thought
to be
of him
respected.
like he is a dude who needs a lot of help,
Right.
Like, and he obviously is not going to respond as well to my normal like man yelling, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna be a little bit more like
gentle
with him
Yeah.
and get him to where he needs to be.
Yeah, and then he reveals himself to be a girl, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Me and Ping's relationship can go to the next
We
level.
about to ping. Okay.
So yeah, so in this live action where it's reversed and Honghui is the one who's making all kinds of goo eyes at Hua Jun, and it's like, well, bro, where are you? Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
That's all we want to know, you know, because you might not get what you want, or you might get exactly what you want. I don't know what is going on behind those eyes, Honghui.
Honghui wants it all.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
You know,
I want it all.
he's the representation for the pansexual community. It's like whatever's going on over there, I want it.
All of that. I
all
want
of that.
it all.
Under the armor, out of the armor. I don't
And
care.
he's over here like, bruh, you stink. But he's also making eyes.
Yeah.
And it's like, you
That
smell
was the
those
grossest part to me, where
pheromones.
we were like, dude, he is hella smelling pheromones.
It's like, you should get naked and get in the bath And maybe I'll join you. I don't know.
And he does.
Maybe I'll tell you how much I respect you
I
in
didn't
there.
even ask you. Okay.
Maybe we could be best friends. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Maybe we can, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and me and you,
Both of us together.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, once again, Disney could have explored that a little bit more, especially since this movie is PG-13. I guess they could have done a little bit more on the sexuality side of this.
Wait, so was
that's,
Beauty and the Beast
but that's
PG?
not. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast is PG.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But that's not obviously not what this movie is about. And in Beauty and the Beast, they had side characters that they could use that storyline with. Sorry, I scratched your toe. And
this was the main.
This is the main
love interest.
the main love interest, the main characters, and I mean her sexuality. She didn't want to get married, but she wasn't saying that she was into girls or anything like that. She was just like, I'm into fighting. That's what I'm into. You know what I'm saying?
I'm into the foo.
Yeah, kung fu. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is your name Kung, last name Fu? Because if not, I don't care about you. All right, I think we've exhausted our Mulan discussion, right?
Yes.
I think so.
I think so too. So thank you guys so
I
much.
would have liked like an after scene though of like him like coming to the
right,
house,
showing up at the village or
like
whatever.
he didn't even have to do anything else, but like showing up at the village and been like, hey,
Hey, baby.
what's up?
like that's it,
Yeah.
like just a little.
Mm-hmm. You found a match yet? I have not, or have I?
And the
Credits.
commander had been out there like, so about my daughter.
So you're not coming to meet my? I mean, you can still no. Well, no.
Maybe not.
Honghui, what are you up to? Oh, you're into Mulan. All right. Well, nobody for my daughter then.
Well, Mulan, you fucking me always, bruh. Girl, whatevs.
You've been
That's
confusing me since the day you got here. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to Cracking the Vault, our after show. We appreciate you. We love you. You're our patrons. You're our most loyal of subscribers, and you help us keep
Loyal.
help us keep the lights on in here. Tell your friends about the show and the after show. Get some more people in here to join the exclusive Patreon club. You know how cheap it is.
Stop.
I'm tired. I need
How
to get out of
cheap
here.
we are and
You know
how cheap it is.
You know how cheap it is. You know what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm deep into just looking at plant pics. So
You
that's
haven't
how
said a
tired
word
I
in
am.
5 minutes.
She was showing me cactuses that look like penises. a second
That's true,
ago.
I was.
Freaked me out.
Let us know what you thought of Mulan in the comments down below. Let us know if you like these crack episodes. Let us know what you want from them. We didn't read any bad reviews, but I'm sure they're out there. You know?
Oh, no, we did. Their
Oh, right.
boycott Mulan.
Right.
Yeah, I read some bad ones.
They didn't even watch it, you know.
I ain't watching that shit.
So yeah, that's
People
it.
giving it 55%. I'm sure they have bad reviews.
Right, exactly. It's not all gravy over in Mulan world. But that's okay.
Gravy.
All right, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Done.
That's it for now. The crack has been cocked.